What's going on, everybody? John Eric Polai here with My MMA News, and I am super excited for today's interview as I'm talking to an MMA power couple, joined today by Gilbert and Keri Melendez. Guys, nice to see you. Thanks for doing this.
Yes, thanks for having us.
Good to be here.
Keri, let's get started with you because you're the reason why we're here today. Your great performance back at Bellator 301. You get another victory, getting a victory this time by way of a submission. Just how happy were you with that performance?
I was very happy to get a finish. I really wanted to take her out in the first round, but I'm glad it happened in the second. And she was a very game opponent. So, not everything was perfect leading up to the fight, but nobody's camp is. But I had some difficulties. So, making it to the fight and coming out with a win was definitely just a great holiday treat.
And the Bellator 301 replay of the fight is still available on the YouTube channel. If nobody saw the fight live, I suggest that they go back and watch it, because there's this great moment, right, where they just zoom in right on Gilbert while he's in the corner and just let him kind of take it over with his instructions he was yelling out. And Gary, I'm just wondering, whenever you're inside the cage there, do you ever have a moment where you're just like, Gilbert, you want to shut up for like 5 minutes?
When I'm actually in the cage and during a fight, I'm very locked in, and his instructions are crucial. And I hear everything he says clearly. I don't hear anything else. I don't hear the audience. I don't hear. I'm very locked in. So, but I can't say the same in the actual training camp and in the training room.
Yeah, for sure. Well, when we're in the gym, Keri is a little grumpy. I'm grumpy. We're both training hard. It's a long training camp, and there is a lot of butting heads, but we do have a lot of trust for each other. And on fight day, she can count on me to give her the right instructions, and we count on each other. And I could count on her to do the same for me if I'm ever in a fight. She's not in my corner, but she's always in the front row yelling at me and giving me good advice. So, John, I don't know if you know, but I was giving her perfect instructions. Why would she tell me to be quiet?
I said the instructions definitely were perfect because it was definitely a flawless performance, that's for sure. And Keri's undefeated too as a fighter, so I think you know what you're doing there, Gilbert. So she should never yell at you, that's for sure. There. I have another great question though, since you guys obviously are married. Interesting point here. Usually, whenever somebody has a fight coming up, the spouse is extremely nervous. So for you guys, who gets more nervous for when the other one's fighting?
Wow. I get pretty nervous for her fighting. To be honest, John, I wish she did not fight. I do not want her to fight, but Keri is so special and very good at what she does. Like, I have to support her, and like, maybe I'm old fashioned, but it's my job to take the beatings. It's my job to sacrifice for this family. And the last thing I want to do is for this pretty face to ever get dinked up, but it would be a shame for the whole MMA community not to see her compete. But I would say I don't show it, but I am dead nervous and I hate it. I hate it. I don't know about her.
I think I'm probably more nervous because he has to stay focused and he's in my corner and my coach, so I'm shaking. Everyone's like, "Will you do this too? Why are you nervous?" And I'm like, "No, I'm confident in him, but we have a daughter, and I see how hard he works, and it's just anything could happen in the cage also. So it's just, I'm probably more nervous, shaking, and
We'll call it a tie.
Sounds like a dead even tie there, but it's a very common thing throughout the sport, though, for the spouse to usually be more nervous than the person that's actually competing there. Gilbert, now for you, right? Obviously, everybody knows you as the fighter and as the analyst. Now with Keri, obviously we talked a little bit about coaching, but that's a little bit different role that people don't normally see you in, the coaching role. And then also I know you do a lot of manager work for Keri as well. So how do you enjoy that little role there of coaching and managing?
I love it. I love it. It's fun. It's something I love the sport of mixed martial arts, and I want to be in it till the day I die. And when you can't compete in the cage or the ring anymore, you still want to be involved. And I think I'm in the giving phase of my life. So it's been really nice to give back to Keri, and not only Keri, just the whole community. We have some really good amateurs that have been putting time in. We got some up and coming pros. We have our first homegrown athlete who made it to the UFC from the Contender Series, Hyder Emil. And so it feels good to see the fruits of your labor in a different direction and for things to unveil. And you know, with Keri and helping Leslie, them kind of leading it, and Hyde showing up there, we have some young other pros and amateurs that I really believe in the next few years are going to do some big things. So I really enjoy that. And I enjoy giving back because that's what it's about. And I hit a lot of hurdles along the way, and I get to make sure my community and my peoples don't.
And I guess I don't know if you want to take this, Gilbert, being the coach and manager. If Keri, you want to take this one, but obviously we know that Bellator and the PFL have now. There's a merger that's going to be starting as of next year. There, I guess first off, just the excitement level, I guess, for that, and if there's anything you could tell us about the merger. I know it's kind of murky waters. Nobody really knows the exact X's and O's on those. What's going to take place in the future there, but whatever you could tell us would be great.
Yeah, I can share with you like my experience because I've been through this, and I'll let Keri share about how she feels excitement wise and the merger. But I've been through this before when the UFC bought out Strikeforce, and it's bittersweet because I love working with Scott Coker, but at the same time, I was super excited to fight on a huge stage and challenge against the UFC championship. With all that playing out, it turned out that I had to stay in Strikeforce. I was the one to stay back in Strikeforce. Some fighters went over, but I stayed in Strikeforce and was a part of Showtime for 3 more fights where I fought Kawajiri, I fought Jorge Masvidal, and I fought Josh Thompson. So you know, it's a roller coaster, and I assume that's what's going to happen here. And it's just part of the business. So, you know, that's just my perspective and what I went through. But I'm not signed by them. So Keri's the one who's probably, you know, has the feelings.
I'm excited to that there's a bigger roster, just more eyes on the ladies, and to just keep representing the women and put on a good show. So I don't know exactly what to expect, and I just want to go out there and keep fighting, and I'm glad I'm able to do that on such a big stage.
And Keri, for you, is there any, timestamp on the career, or are you just gonna keep going until you feel, that time is necessary? Because, we don't talk about women's ages, of course, ever, but obviously, I know, I guess you'd say time may not necessarily be on your side for super, super, super long, as opposed to maybe some of the other fighters.
Right. I don't have a timestamp. I'm just going to go on how I feel. I haven't taken a lot of damage in my fights, or so I feel like even though I'm a little bit older, I don't have as much damage as someone that's younger than me that has been through a lot of wars. So I still have a lot to give, and I'm still competing with doing great or even better than some of the young ladies at my gym.
I can see Keri knocking out 5 fights. You know what I mean? You know, I can see her knocking out 5 fights and then maybe really reassessing from there, and that's like that could be a year and a half's work, right? It could be a year and a half or something. So maybe 4 to 4 fights and we could really assess from there.
And I guess the question, along the lines of longevity in the sport, the ones that are able to master it, it really is something, I guess. Keri, I don't know if this is for you or even for Gilbert being the coach and everything, but how do you guys get that success with the longevity there in the sport, especially one as brutal as this one? Is it the recovery? Is it taking that smart time off after fights? Like, well, what exactly is the key to the longevity there?
Well, I'll go first, man. I've been through a lot. I think it's important is just not to have an ego inside the gym, right? There's a lot of people who are like, oh, I'm gonna go take it to Gilbert today and go brag about their how they sparred Gil and did great. But I if you bring out as you get older, it's hard to summon the beast or summon the tiger. When I was 18, I could summon the beast and tiger like that. As you get older, and to this day, I love training. So I say I go 60%, like, on the days I don't feel great, and I go hard when I don't. But honestly, I've been through 25-minute battles, and what has stopped me is just the damage I've accumulated over these years. I've had like 7 25-minute fights. I've pissed blood. I've broken this. I've separated shoulders. I've been through some wars with some of the greats. So damage this come with that. So I have a lot of damage, even though my heart and soul is in it. And that's one thing Keri doesn't have. She doesn't have any damage, right? And of course there's the miles you put in from training, but there's nothing like when you're really like in a 5 round fight and you're mangled up and on crutches and on another level, and like for her, she's, like she's in great shape and I think it just comes down to like she has like very little damage, and then like I wish I got all those wins like that, but she has very little damage. So I mean, I don't know if that's her secret, but I feel like that's her secret, man. She's been kicking ass.
I think so. I think you said it best. And just the only thing I can add is just, just I feel smarter with age. I really do. And I listen to my body. I'm still trying to figure it out. I think I'm always trying to figure out the secret, but I'm trying to listen to my body a lot more and taking more rest days than ever and bit training smarter.
All right, let's get, I guess, a few maybe outside of the cage type of questions here for you guys here. And one, I guess, kind of still related to the exact fight game per se here. You guys own a gym together. How's that been going? I know, Gilbert, you did touch on it a little bit before, but just how's that been going? How's the success of the gym going? And I know you guys have a few big announcements with that too, right?
Yeah, man, the gym has been going really well. We really love it. We were the El Nino Training Center, but now we're the like Scrap Pack HQ. And we think it's important to have these Scrap Pack gyms because it's not only my name, we have a community of fighters and a big community of people. And I think we, not only are we doing, authentic martial arts, but we take pride and building a strong community that's, about loyalty, respect, and courage. So we opened another gym on Union Street in the Marina, which is a really nice part of San Francisco. We're here in South San Francisco as well, and we're looking to expand into the Mission area. So we have a lot of athletes who've dedicated their lives to martial arts like us, and we're finding that the gym business can be lucrative and can be helpful. And listen, man, I've been in 6 period PE since high school, and I never wanted to stop wrestling. And now I'm 41, almost 42 next year, but I'm 41 years old, and I'm still doing the same thing. And we're just doing what we love, and we're making a business out of it. And we want to do that for people who've dedicated their lives to us. I mean, 15 years is a PhD twice. So like a lot of these guys are PhDs in martial arts, and we think we can keep pushing and opening more and take over this Bay Area.
Keri, do you want to add anything to that or no?
No, Gilbert's a great speaker and he articulates very well, better than I ever can. So,
well, I will say Keri should talk about a little bit is, having a part of the great community is, we respect each other quite a bit, and we have a strong, female presence because of her, and I think a lot of these gyms don't have that. And Keri has been doing a really good job of helping build a woman's stable and have a woman presence in our gym. And I think it's important to have people don't know that, jujitsu and what we do fighting is self-defense. So they like, oh, jujitsu, I don't want to do that. I want to do self-defense. Okay, come in for self-defense. And Keri shows these ladies, but she's really been a great leader for the ladies out there and building up a good stable.
Oh, thank you. Gilbert's always been a supporter of women, so
yeah, glad you guys are having all that success with the gym there. Let's talk, I guess, now family life here, right? Obviously, a lot on the plate right there, whether it's Keri fighting, Gilbert, you coaching and managing her, then, of course, everything going on with the gym. Obviously, you guys have a daughter. How do you guys balance all of that out? I'm sure not too much sleep, I'm sure is probably part of it.
Yes, it's gosh, it's been a fun, wild ride. Our daughter is now 13, so she's grown up in the lifestyle with us, and she trains herself. So she's very supportive to my fighting. It was 3 years since I fought, so she's very supportive on that. And the other day at the gym, one of our coaches were stuck in traffic, and she led the class, her jiu-jitsu class. So she's a little leader herself, and it is hard to manage, but we do it as a team, and we have family. I'm lucky I have my mom that helps out a lot, and Gilbert's dad helps us and his family. So
yeah. And John, everything can get overwhelming, and that's life, right? And everything's a matter of perspective. So, like we think about it and how lucky are we, to have gyms, to be able to train, to be able to compete, to be able to pass on the knowledge. And I think actually it's been a real a real positive impact on our daughter. Like maybe she hasn't seen it myself in my fighting years, but she sees a different side of me, which is, waking up every day and opening up the gym, building a community, expanding businesses. And I think she's getting motivated by that. And you can be a diva. Oh, I travel every weekend. I got to go do ESPN, LFA. Or you can just be grateful. Like, how blessed am I? How blessed are we to live this life? And we might as well take advantage of it and might as well kick ass as much as we could and attack it. We fight in the cage, but we're fighters in life, right? And that's what I'm trying to tell my daughter. Treat everything like a fight, and that's just what it is. It's just a matter of perspective. My glass is always half full and not half empty. And that's how we do it out here.
And Keri, you normally with your fight kit, right? Isn't there normally something you have for your daughter on? And what was it for this fight?
I put her name on my shorts
Okay.
every time for my daughter. So she's always on my shorts, Layla K. And so.
Yeah, she does that, and she helps her pick out her walkout songs and
Yes.
helps design her outfits with her. And they're always, teaming up against me and plotting together. But Keri has a big impact on her as well. And it's really great to see, her become a strong woman and see her fighting and them working together like that. But they're best friends. They leave me out of everything.
She was really cute. There was one thing she did on my water bottles. Will decorate my water bottles and she'll put little phrases like she said, what did she say? She said like bloody beauty, or like she'll write little messages to me. So she's very supportive and sweet.
And told all her friends to tune in for the
Oh
fight.
yeah, she called all her friends at school and told everybody that she knows to watch my fight. So that was fun. I was like, oh gosh, I better do well.
Yeah, she had teachers and teachers reaching out, and we're like, we didn't know. But, she's also like, her daughter's her biggest fan and promoting her, and she's like, like she might not, we don't want her to fight, but she has maybe she's going to be in promoting, or she's going to be in marketing or something though.
She can speak really well, like her dad.
Well, it sounds like you guys quite the fighting family going on there and a great support staff there for sure. I guess just lastly, before we start wrapping things up, this is something I'm sure you guys are going to be getting questions like this for the rest of your lives probably. And that, of course, is that you guys have such a great relationship with the Diaz brothers. In fact, Nate was at the fight at Bellator 301. So I guess we'll start, Keri, with that right there. What was that like, just having Nate coming to the fight that they had to support you? And obviously, that's a lot for you in your fighting career, just with having his name there. I'm sure it gained you a lot of followers post-fight, having him there to support you.
Having him there was huge. I was just him, Jake, Randy Spence, like they're like the OGs of the game, and I was definitely Gilbert and Nate were like, I just wanted to be a combination of them together, was like what I wanted back in the day before I started doing MMA. So just coming full circle and having him there, going out of his way to support me, was a big deal for me. I really was like, I better not mess up this choke. I can't F this up. So, and he's always been, he's never changed. He's down to earth and really supportive, and he's like family to us. So it was awesome. And now that he brings this star power and craziness with him, and he still, hasn't changed and is still so supportive, is amazing to fit in his like busy schedule to come and support us. We're me, Gilbert too, of course.
All right, and then Gilbert, I guess just lastly for you being the analyst guy here, and then we're going to wrap things up after this question here. Obviously, we don't know what's next for Nate. We never know what's next for Nate. I know all the fans out there are assuming it's going to be something Jake Paul related, whether that be in MMA or whether it's a boxing rematch. In this scenario, I guess you could say, if that is indeed what is next, I mean, do you see things being different next time around? Or I'm sure if it's in MMA, obviously heavily going to favor Nate.
Yeah, so Nate is a fighter. Yes, he's also a businessman, which we found out, but he's also like an artist, right? Like, so when he does something, like he wants to do something meaningful, right? And he also wants to like trick you and hit a pivot and like keep you on your heels and always surprise you, So, I think whatever he does is going to be like jaw-dropping, exciting, and huge. Whether it's Jake Paul, whether it's something else, I don't know. But against the Jake Paul fight, like leading up to that, he doesn't like to talk about it. But Nate's a big jabber, and his arm was hurt, so he really didn't have a jab, and he like just started inside fighting, and which you can do well, but against a big guy, you want to use your jab, make a miss, stick and move, and that's what Nate does so well is pop his jab. So if they were to box again, I would love to see him box Jake Paul again. That's what I want for him. We'll do the MMA thing maybe down the road, but I would love to see another rematch of Jake Paul. Nate's that soldier that doesn't pull out of fights or just goes through with it, and I respect that so much, and most of us are that way. But I do think a boxing match a second time around could be better for Nate, and with the good strong jab. So I'd love to see that fight. But to be honest, John, like Nate only knows, man. What's going on in his head is Nate's head, and he's the only guy who knows. And just when you think you got it read, he's gonna just go a different direction.
Guys, I can't thank you enough for the time. It's been a great conversation. We covered a lot of topics in today's interview, and I appreciate you guys so much for the time. Last thing before you guys head out, if you both want to plug your social media accounts, anything with the gym that has to be plugged that hasn't been so already, whether that be the social media or phone numbers, anything like that, you guys get the last word today. Floor is yours.
Yeah, I think first off, Local Foods was a sponsor for us for a lot of time, really keeping us healthy and really giving us food, myself and Keri and anyone who knows when you're a fighter, man, like time management is so tough to cook and have all that organized after hard training. So Local Foods, Excelsior Coffee here in San Francisco, Joseph Westlake is a great restaurant out here that helped us out. And just she's at Keri Melendez 415. I'm at Gilbert Melendez at El Nino Training Center at Scrap Pack HQ, and yeah, shout out to all our friends and teammates and family that's really helped us out. Anyone else you want to say?
Oh, you covered it all.
Maybe Layla K too, huh?
Yeah, Layla K, our daughter.
Yeah, and all the community that supports us. Thanks to everybody.